daydreamers. Yeah.
I don't think that George R. Martin is writing what I'm watching.
I don't think he is anymore. I know that. Uh, I think the point that we're at right now, the book is ended. I mean, he's coming out with another book, so like the hoarder thing, that's not even in the book. Like, not
Mhm.
yet. It's supposed to be in a future book. I think. Don't quote me. I have some of the books. Haven't read them. They're just there for decoration. And I'll probably read them later. But I don't know. I came on to this series late. I came on in like the third season, and I binge watched everything. And I got the books thinking I was gonna want to read them, but then the show was really good, so I was like, "Fuck the books for now. We'll come back." But yeah, so from my understanding, is the whole hoarder shit and that the explanation of that was not written yet, but they reached out to George R. R. Martin confirming that, is this the path that you are planning to take in your new book? So yeah, he doesn't have a lot. He hasn't, the whatever we're gonna see these next two episodes isn't in the books. So they're kind of just coming up with their own. HBO's coming up with their own thing.
Right. And honestly, I think it's way better
I
that
love
way.
it.
And this is where I want Dawn to hop in because I know that you don't watch this show, but one thing that I feel like I just want to like talk about is kind of like the whole writing side of it because I think as far as the story that George R. Whatever the fuck him, uh, whatever he was doing, it just didn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the story was coming to a standstill. You know what I mean? And you can see that he doesn't have involvement because of some of the things that are happening. I think that what you're seeing is how not sticking to the source material or the the person who is the source of the material can help productions because video productions are a whole different thing from print productions. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah.
like it's certain things you need in video production for them shits to work. And the people who make video productions tend to know what they doing. And it's like if you only stick to sources, there's things that you would never have. Like Harley Quinn wouldn't exist. You know what I'm saying? It's just like sometimes the people writing the story know what they doing. It's all about the execution of the changes that you want to make. You know what I'm saying? That's where the real fault lies. You know what I mean? And with HBO's execution and the story that they telling, it's like this shit can go to another level. You know what I mean? I really think Game of Thrones can go to another level.
I agree with you. I think it's all about the execution. It's just, and I agree, like, how Harley Quinn would not exist. Batman Beyond, we probably wouldn't have. All that stuff came from the shows and whatnot. But, that's the good side, I think. It's both, bad and good from it. The bad
But
side is when you have fucking Bryan Singer and he's putting the people in these black costumes that have nothing to do with the comic books, or Zack Snyder doing a story that has nothing to do with the comic. Like, the shit is there. The storyboard is there. The script is there. The dialogue is there. The action is there. The scene header is there. It's all there. All you got to do, like, a comic book movie should be like a how-to guide for a filmmaker. Like, if you
but
don't
that's
know,
not what you do though because
I understand
Infinity
that.
War wouldn't have looked like it did from coming from the Russo brothers as it
You mean
would in the
Civil War?
comic book.
Well, yeah.
Civil War.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. But I understand that.
So
But
it's execution.
I agree 100%. But the Russo brothers didn't make like Captain America's shield orange. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit that
Right.
Zack Snyder be doing and Bryan
But even
Singer be
even
Yeah.
doing.
even if even now that's true. But even if you do that, it's still all in how you deliver it for real. Because you
Nah,
can get
niggas would be like,
so
"What the fuck is this?" No, it wouldn't. It
no,
wouldn't.
listen,
Matt.
listen. There is no.
But no, I
There
agree.
is
I
no
agree.
Joker, right?
I agree. I
That
do agree with
exists
that.
in the
Actually,
comics that look like Heath
Heath
Ledger's
Ledger, right?
Joker.
I agree. So like, yeah, to that point, I agree. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So,
It's all
and
about
that was all
execution.
Heath Ledger's decision. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, the people who are creative you got to let them be creative, and they could deliver a whole new take on it. Because even if you want to say stick to the source material, comics don't even stick to the source material.
Right.
How many different versions of Batman and the Joker or Superman or
Right.
Iron Man or Captain America are they? You know what I'm
Tons,
saying? So
tons.
and how many different writers is it? You know what I
Tons,
mean? So it's
tons.
like everybody gets to make their own take on these superheroes. I feel like that's something that's allowed in comic books. I feel like that's truly the heart of it. So it's all in how you execute it. It's just if you're going to do it, if you want to sell us a different story, just do it right. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what we need to really act from the filmmakers, is to do it right, not to do it our way, not to make us see exactly what
Well, that's all we
see.
saying. That's all we saying is do it right. But to the people who can't do it right, that's what I'm saying. Stick to the source material. That's all I'm saying. If you cannot, if you suck at making decisions, go back to the source. That's all I'm saying. That's
Well, I
all
can full on agree with you on that one, my brother.
Yes. Like if I didn't think HBO could come up with a good storyline for Game of Thrones, then I would not be on board with them writing material for, future
Right.
episodes and stuff like that. I would recommend they wait for George R. Martin to come out with another book. But I mean, I think a lot of the changes that they made in comparison to the book, from what I know, has been great. Like,
Amazing.
yeah,
It's
it's been really
amazing.
good. And then now that they don't have a source material to kind of weigh them down and make them go in a certain direction, I feel like you said they could take it to another level.
Yeah, because
They can move.
Oh, I'm
Go
sorry. I'm
ahead.
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I was just gonna say that they move a lot quicker than the books. I know a lot of people complain about how, Arya has been in this place for like 3 seasons, whereas in the book she was there like forever.
Right.
And you're reading like 3 or 4 books and she still hasn't left. So
Right.
it might seem long to us, but the way they cover stuff over the seasons in the series moves a lot faster. And I think that makes for better. No one wants to see and watch someone in the same place. I mean, Arya was only there for 3 seasons, and everyone was like, "Damn, when is she leaving this place? Like, we're
Well,
done."
the
We're
thing about
tired."
it though is that it can't be the whole thing about it, and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't watched it, but I think the whole thing about like George R. R. them trying to interpret George R. R. Martin is the fact that like it gets to the point where it's kind of like it's too harsh. You know what I'm saying? And it's too it lacks the hope. You know what I mean? You can do that in the book because there's so much dialogue and the reader is building that story in their head and they're going to get emotional with it. But as a viewer, it's a lot harder to do that. You know what I mean? Like you got an hour of people's times for a couple of weeks, you know what I'm saying? For like 12, weeks or so, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have time to move these stories so slow, and you don't have time to keep them in a state of, because really what was happening is like you're just constantly seeing the bad side grow, and its opponents just kind of seem to be either stagnant or just constantly dying. It's not good television. It's just not, and it
It's
wouldn't be a good
bleak.
movie. Yeah, right. It's like Don. What would it be? What it would be like is if you were watching Batman versus Superman for goddamn 6 seasons. You know what I'm saying? It was like goddamn, like it's
Right.
just like all it do is get in slower motion. Like what the fuck is going
And
on?
Batman just keep losing. Batman and Superman just keep losing and shit.
Right.
Like that's Game of Thrones.
Right. And then somebody like, you know what I mean, like assaults Wonder Woman, you know what I mean, and then it's like shit gets really ugly. So like, I don't know, man. It's really good though. It's
Yeah,
really good.
I agree with the taking liberties to a certain extent. It's fine. It's just the reason why people keep saying, at least comic book fans keep saying stick to the source material, is because no one has fucking done it for so long. Like from the second it started, people didn't go with the source material. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it's to the point now where we're starting to see people stick closer to the source material, and it's working. You know,
It's working in a sense though that's not really good for the industry, and
How
it's like
so?
it's
How
not,
so?
it's
Like
not,
Deadpool
it's not
sticks.
self-sustaining.
Deadpool stuck to the source material, kinda, for the most part, to the look, the suit, making his eyes animated. You know what I'm saying? All this shit that would never have happened like 10 years ago with a comic book movie. That movie would have never came out 10 years ago.
That's
You know
like
what
the
I'm saying?
good example of it and stuff like
I
that. But it's
understand. I'm saying that's what I'm giving you the good example. I'll give you a bad. What's a bad example? Give me a bad example of
well,
someone
no,
sticking to the
like
source
it's also
material.
perfectly adapted to how you would want to see that happen in film. You know what I mean? So it's like it's another thing where like the
But
way
what's
that
the
they did
last
it
film you seen like
helps
that?
with
You
the
seen
work.
like what's the last film you seen like Deadpool? I never seen nothing like that.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Because
So
it's a
like
comic book
it
movie.
was
It's a
groundbreaking.
straight from the comic book movie, and that's what you get if you stick to the source material. Granted, Deadpool is a great person to do that with. You know, it wouldn't work for every character, I don't think.
Mhm.
But you know what I'm saying? Like Fantastic Four is something you do not take liberties with.
But they
You,
they stuck to the source and you know what I mean. They did a good job. You know what I mean. Like they knew what they
who?
were doing.
Dead?
The director of Deadpool
Right, yeah.
and then I know that what's the name had a lot of input in it as well.
Yeah,
But
Ryan Reynolds, because he knew the character, he really wanted to play
yeah,
that
it
part.
was
So
really
yeah,
happy
so
with
I
that.
agree with you, what you're saying, with taking liberties. Cause I'm sure he took some liberties, because Deadpool isn't 100% like that in the comics. You know what I mean? So he's different, very different from what I don't really honestly read Deadpool, but from what fans say, he's different than Ryan Reynolds is in the movie. But they still capture the essence of Deadpool,
Yeah.
and so I'm
Yeah,
all
man.
for it. It's just about I just hate Zack Snyder and Bryan Singer, man.
Damn.
Just kill those two, chop them up, and we'll be good. We can move
Take a
on.
shot, you
I don't
guys.
hate.
Yeah, double shot.
True. Yeah, true. I
It
didn't even
just
catch it.
it just always makes me wonder, like, what what happens when they can't follow the source material, and that makes me worry about. And this is not about anything we've already talked about, but it makes me wonder what they're gonna do with the newest villain on the Walking Dead series,
Hmm.
Negan. In the comic, if they were to try to stick with the source material, this dude would be dropping all types of f bombs in every sentence more than once. You know what I mean? Like he is known for the way he talks and how vulgar he is, and removing that is removing a lot about what's so great about him as a villain and as a character in the Walking Dead universe in general. So, what do you do when you like? I'm sure they can't change the ratings on AMC, to HBO where they can curse or something like that. They're gonna have to edit it out or find other ways to bring
But
his essence into the show.
if you have good writers and a good actor, and that's one of those things that you know that's one of those things where like that's why I just side with like the artist being artists, you know what I mean, and having freedom because it's up to the actor to still have the same to still have that same demeanor that the character has in the comic without having to actually curse. So, it's like all right, so it's like Denzel in American Gangster. Now the real Frank Lucas was not even educated, so he couldn't read. You know what I mean? He was not what you would call a smart person. He didn't dress in suits every day and shit like that. He wore suits only if he was trying to like dress up and go out somewhere. You know what I mean? So, but in the film, you know what I mean? He gets up every day and has coffee and reads the newspaper and dresses in a suit and speaks like eloquent. You know what I mean? Um, so that was something that Denzel did. I think to still have an intimidation factor to him, but not, I guess, expose Frank Lucas for being uneducated and stuff like that. I think I think that that's important in when it comes to making an actual good film. You know what I mean? Is the actors have to be able to have range with the characters, and the directors need to be able to feel like they can actually make what they want to make out of something. You know what I mean? But like when it doesn't work, then you just remove that director. I think that's what's smart about Marvel. When they see that something isn't working, it's like, okay, we will just, you know, we can just end this situation. You know what I mean? It's like, I think DC, I hear that they worry about stockholders and stuff like that. And they feel like they're worried about people selling the shares if they were to fire Zack Snyder, because it's like that's a multi-million-dollar business. You know what I mean? Hundreds of millions of dollars at stake when with those type of decisions. All this shit is really interesting when you really look into how this shit in Hollywood work, man. It's it's amazing to me that they still even exist. The only reason they do is because of Don's source material. If it wasn't for comic books and fucking old fucking cartoons and shit, I don't know what they'd be doing in remakes.
Oh,
Oh
they
my
would
god.
be hiring us to write some shit, but
Oh yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
but
That's exactly what I live for at this point, is to be that person that they come to for this shit at
it
some
will
point.
happen because people gonna get tired of remakes and comic book movies. But for now, we're in the present. I feel like it's a good time to be a nerd and everything, and I'm finna
It
soak
is.
all this shit up and do my thing. But real quick, I want to talk about Star Wars. All right, if you look at the original, trilogy, and then the prequels. The problem with the prequels is because George Lucas himself didn't stick to the source material. He didn't stick to the formula. He took so many creative liberties with his own property, but he made it something that it wasn't. To
Yeah.
the point where the fans didn't recognize it. No one recognized it. And you look at someone like J.J. Abrams, who took, I think, some creative liberties with it. I mean, helped design Kylo Ren and wanted him to have a metal mask and wanted him to be kind of like Darth Vader, but not really, and all this kind of stuff. But he still had guidelines he had to adhere to and rules, that's what I'm saying. I'm not
But
saying
but
100%.
listen. So the guidelines and rules that he was adhering to, though, were some of the things that really make the trilogy not work. You know what I mean? Like, man, like there's so many things at stake when it comes to making a good film. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of that shit was casted very, very poorly. You know what I'm saying? That's number one. You know what I'm saying? J.J. Abrams casted great. And then also, this part of the story, you know what I'm saying? It's like he has the ability to kind of like fuck with, because a lot of people don't know it. You know what I mean? But it's like he did stick to, like, I guess whatever the canon is, for as much as I know. But
Yeah,
it's a good film because of other filmmaking techniques. You know what I'm saying? The shots, the scenes. You know what I'm saying? The acting that wasn't present. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can sell people any bullshit, but you just gotta sell it the right way. You know what
I
I mean?
agree.
Like,
I agree.
so it's like people would have, that shit could have landed if you sell it right. You know what I mean? And that's poor filmmaking don't have nothing to do with the material, because I feel very confident that whatever script Zack Snyder was working with was an excellent script. But that shit that we watched was terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've gotten to the point where I like the movie for what it could be, but I don't like the movie. And just even some of the shots that I see that they seem to be putting into the extended version seem like the type of shots that could have helped people know what the fuck was going on. You know what I mean?
Here's a fun fact about BVS too. You know that scene where Lex Luthor is giving that speech and he starts talking all crazy and awkward and shit?
Yeah.
That was supposed to come later. That whole scene was supposed to come towards the end after Darkseid had infected his brain. And that's why he's talking crazy. You notice he wasn't doing that at the beginning of the movie. He was kind of smooth with it. You know what I'm saying? But he started acting like Jesse Eisenberg and talking awkward and shit. That's because Darkseid was infecting his brain. But Zack Snyder or whoever thought it was a good idea to move that towards the middle of the film or whatever, towards the center. And
But
that's
then there's
not.
also something in that scene, though, where, like, when people talk about motivation, like, what was his motivation? I didn't know what you just now had said, but part of that dialogue in that scene where he says, he talks about his father dying, you know what I mean, and him having to take over, you know what I mean, and he starts talking about how, having knowledge and not having power, that's paradoxical and shit like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like that's motivation. You know what I'm saying? Like it's certain ways where, like, come on, man, it's like certain ways that people, that movie is bad for different reasons than, like, lack of motivation. You know what I'm saying? It's lack of explaining
Exactly.
the plot properly. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So that you actually understand those scenes. You know what I'm
But,
saying?
but
Like you said, like you just when you just plop that there, people don't get it. You know what I mean?
right,
Some
exactly.
people may, but a lot of people are like, "What the fuck was that?" You know what I mean?
Right, right. It should have been explained better. But
Yeah,
let
it's
me let me
just bad filmmaking. I guarantee you that if the three of us had that script in front of us, we would probably read something that's fantastic.
dog.
Because I
I'm
feel like
telling.
the story that they were trying to tell was a good story.
I agree. I want to. I told y'all this before. I think I want to recut that movie. I want to get the movie and recut it and make it what the fuck it should have been. Because I know it can be a good movie. It's all there. It's just jumbled up. But
Like people argue about or people get upset about like there's a dynamic, there's a fight going on between Batman and Superman that's like multi-layered in that movie that like people don't get. You know what I mean? Part of the things that I defend about the movie that Zack Snyder didn't like execute so that people got it. Like there's multiple fights between Batman and Superman. They just carried out in different ways. And then like the Martha thing, like when the mother dies in the beginning, you know, that scene don't need to be there. We don't need to see that scene anymore. You know what I mean? Everybody knows Batman, but the only reason that's there is, you know, Thomas
to
Wayne
drive
screaming
the
Martha.
point.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you hear that, and then a couple scenes later, like really not that far after that, you get the slow motion of Bruce Wayne going to the grave,
Right.
and he puts the flowers on the grave, and it covers up Thomas, and you just see Martha Wayne. You know what I'm saying? They be playing that shit up. It's actually happening in the movie, and they're having battles because when Clark first feels like he doesn't like what Batman's doing, it's something that's in the newspaper, and he's trying to push to fucking like say to people, hey, this Bat guy is not good for the people and shit, but like he gets shut down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when he showed up, people are like, why would he show up like that? He showed up, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, I'm trying to beat you as fucking Clark Kent, but I can't, you know what I'm saying? So it's like now I'm gonna have to be Superman and be like, hey, stop running around here fucking shit up like you are. You know what I'm saying? It's like that shit don't land, but it should. We should be noticing that. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you something, man. If Zack Snyder had really stuck to the material, read the damn comic and really did it good, interpreted it well, if Superman had acted like he does, I don't know, like if you watch the cartoon or something like that, if he had acted a certain way, if Batman had acted that way, if Wonder Woman had acted the same way, do you think it would be a better movie? I think it would be a better film because it would have been a little bit lighter. It would have been more explaining, because that's what they do. They set stuff up in the cartoon and in the comic books. They let the audience or whatever, the viewer, know what's going on.
I know where you're going with this. So, like, honestly, like, I agree and I disagree. And this is why. Like, I agree that the characters aren't who they should be. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel, and I agree that like in the comic book, but also in the cartoon, you got like 100 episodes to do this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So
True,
what
that's
Zack
true.
Snyder has done is like took out the scenes that would make it make sense that Superman like is like, you know, worried, but like he doesn't do that right. You know what I mean? Like he just doesn't give us as much as we need, but some of it is there. Like with Superman, when his statue gets vandalized and they're going to run that in the paper, you know what I'm saying? He looks over there like, damn, why they doing me like that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then the one girl says something. He looks over at his girl for some reason. I can't
Lois
think of her
Lane.
name right now. And it's like that hurts him. You know what I'm saying? Like he wants to be a hero, but the thing is, he is being a hero, and that's what Zack Snyder isn't showing us, because he's trying to like chase down Bruce Wayne because he's like, what is this guy up to and shit? And then he hears on the TV that people are burning in a building in fucking Mexico, and he goes to fucking Mexico. And the thing is, he turns towards the screen and starts to unbutton his tie. All Zack Snyder had to do was give us the full tie come down, open up the blazer, and we see the Superman S on his chest, and like the fans would have got up like, yeah,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And then he go into the building and actually save the people and does it in an amazing way. And then you get the scene of him coming down, and the crowd comes over
Which you
top
would
of
have
him.
seen in the comic book or the cartoon. You
Right,
would have seen
exactly.
that.
But
You would have
that's all
seen that part.
execution. You know
I
what I'm saying?
understand
That's
that, but
all
I'm
shit
saying
that he didn't do.
I understand that, but I'm just saying someone like Zack Snyder could be riled in if he was given proper like constraints. They didn't give him no constraints with this shit, like they're doing now.
Yeah.
Just like now with Jeff Johns as like what the senior some high rank.
Like
they
he's
gave him.
basically, but he's him and another guy basically running it now.
Right, and that's what Lucasfilm had. Lucasfilm, like when they were remaking Star Wars, they had the girl from Lucasfilm. They had somebody from Disney. They had somebody here and there and there. They had people. They had a team, and which is what Zack Snyder didn't have for BVS. Now this next
because
movie,
he was executive producer and director, so that means he was answering to nobody.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So if I think it could be done, taking liberties can be done, but within reason. That's all I'm saying. Give them some kind of a construct, some kind of some boundaries that they cannot cross. Like you can't
I'm just
make.
saying that is supposed to be a good movie though. For real, that's supposed to be a slam dunk, and like
I
and
agree.
Really, that is supposed to be the Superman that everybody wanted, but Zack Snyder just doesn't fully give it to us. For real, he wasn't supposed to get sad until all those people died in Congress, and he didn't see it coming. You know what I mean? But it's like we were supposed to know that bomb was in there as well. Like Civil War and Batman vs Superman have the same plot, honestly, but it's like it's executed so much better in Civil War. Like Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor is behind the scenes pitting both the two major superheroes against each other behind the scenes, hoping for them to rip each other apart at the end.
Right.
The difference is you got the Russo brothers who show that constraint, and then Kevin Feige puts that belief in the brothers to do what they want to do. So instead of Baron Zemo coming back to the place and letting loose all those other Winter Soldier type of things, he shoots them all in the head. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we not going to have the boss battle. You know what I'm saying? The boss battle is going to be between these two fucking superheroes, and it's a battle of ideology. It's the same movie, but you get to see Baron Zemo actually tinkering behind the scenes, so you feeling like, oh damn, he diabolical. You know it.
Right.
You don't get what's going on with Jesse Eisenberg in the movie because you don't see him doing anything except for making a big stupid 3D monster that come and hit shit at the end.
Yeah,
so
for no reason.
It's
Why
not
did he make that
well,
shit?
but it's the same fucking movie.
I agree. It's very, very big similarities, and they made Civil War because they heard DC was gonna make BVS. At least that's what I understand. So I think you're 100% correct. I feel like
about being good at what you do, man.
Yeah. So I'm saying, all I'm saying is, and Amber, what do you think? I know you hate when we talk about this shit.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I'm just easily distracted. But I think that Zack Snyder did have too much control over what was being put out as far as Batman versus Superman. And I think it does require a team. And that's what I'm hoping for the Assassin's Creed movie, with them working with Hollywood and having their own production company working alongside them to make sure that they do it right, and to make sure that there's an open conversation about what they want as far as what they're pulling from the source material and what they aren't. So
I hear they're going to go forward with the movies and stop making the games, is what I heard. Did you hear that as well? Yeah, because I think the last one I played was Black Flag, and I wasn't very impressed with it. The only one that I really did like was Brotherhood.
You didn't like Black Flag?
Not really. I mean, I just felt like it had been done before. It was pretty much the same thing, just with like pirate skins. So
the first one was the funnest. One of the funnest games I ever played, though. Played the first one, the second one, and then I didn't play them anymore. But what a great game, though.
Yeah, man. See, that's another thing. Like with these game movies, one of the reasons. All right, you know why I hate the Tomb Raider franchise? You can call it that. because she looks nothing like Laura Croft. Like, that's not Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider's supposed to have brown hair, the green shirt, tan shorts, you know what I'm saying, with the pistols. But they got, Angelina Jolie, who's beautiful, but she don't look nothing like the character.
She wasn't curvy enough to be Laura Croft. Not right. Laura Croft from at that time. Now she looks completely different. Like, she looks like a hipster chick that works at Starbucks now. Yeah. But before she was curvy, she had hips, had butt, and boobs, and right. Angelina Jolie is like 90 pounds. Right. So it just, I mean,
and she was wearing
more
these
of a mother now than an actress anymore.
Yeah. And right. she just had this silver suit. I just remember thinking, that's not Tomb Raider. That's a lady you got that kind of looks like her. And she's going to probably shoot some shit. I refuse to... I didn't even watch those movies because it wasn't Tomb Raider.
Her outfit was actually fucking lame, man. It was like really flat and like really like...
Right.
It was like... To me, it stuck to the comic book too much because it's like, why... How do you go out to the places that you're going in like that little ass top and like them short ass shorts?
And you're fighting bears and fucking bats.
Because she's Laura Croft, yo. That's what she
but
do.
It looked like
she just do that.
Got her outfit from like a Party City though.
But yo, who raised tombs in the first place? What the fuck are you doing in the tomb? I don't understand it. I'm just saying it just wasn't, to me. It wasn't what I wanted it to be. You know what I'm saying? Just like if they make a GTA movie, I don't want to see Transporter. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be like GTA. I want you to make them look like the characters. Give me that same feeling. You know what I'm saying?
That's all in who buy it. So it's like, if a certain company buy the franchise and you see the trailer and it look like what you don't want it to look like, then just don't go see it. That's all you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't go see it and then don't speak about it. Like, we should just just create black holes in the internet for things like that. So then like they never try it again.
Yeah. Well, I think that happened with Gods in Egypt. We just gotta do that shit like collectively with everything else. You see that shit went straight to DVD or Blu-ray. That shit like was.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna do the same thing with the Ghost in the Shell. I mean, I have absolutely nothing against Scarlett Johansson. I like her and everything that she's played in. I'm positive she'll do a good job in Ghost in the Shell, but just off the principle that they refuse to hire a Asian actress when they had the opportunity to, or really any Asian actor or actress, given the fact that 90% of everyone in the actual anime are Japanese people, and I think like 90% of all the main characters are white actors in the movie. So I mean, just off the strength of that, the boycott is real because I mean I just can't bring myself to watch it.
Yeah, just don't go see it, man. That's why I have not seen Gods of Egypt. And it's like, I've seen it on HBO Go and stuff. And it's like, I really want to watch it just to see how bad it is. But it's just like, I will never let my eyes see that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not even going to say who, but people in my household have been trying to get me to watch it. Like, they'll put it on and be like, oh, yeah, I mean, you should just watch it. If you take the black part out of it, I'm like, no. I can't just remove the fact that they're in an African country and no one is African or no one is black. You know what I mean? I can't. It's just not gonna fit.
I won't allow that. Yeah. Thank you, Amber. You had the right attitude.
yeah. Like,
and that's the only sticking to the source material that I give a fuck
right. That's
about.
what I'm saying. That's sticking to the source material. Like, for real. Let's be real. That's sticking. And that's a director who thought it was a good idea to put white people in.
And if people want to fucking argue, the source material are the actual hieroglyphics that is plastered with fucking brown and black people. Let's not get it twisted. We're not talking about some imaginary shit. You know what pisses me off is that it was the last movie that was supposed to be about Noah. I can't not Noah. Moses.
Exodus. The
Exodus.
Ridley Scott or whatever.
They're actually there in like in a place that looks like Egypt, and they have hieroglyphics up, and the hieroglyphics have fucking brown and black people. Yet all these fucking white people are just walking around the temples and shit. I'm like, what? So you bring everything else in except for the actual people that are supposed to be here.
I think that's more of a racist thing than
it's not even source material at that point. It's just
that's
like
the other thing about sticking to the source material. Like if you stick to the source material, I mean, what skin color is Nick Fury? You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's true.
What skin
that's
color?
True.
You know what I'm saying? Is Johnny Storm? You know what I mean?
What skin color is the Green Lantern?
Right.
When will they do the black one though? God.
Yeah, I know.
I hope this one.
He's always been black to me. I never seen any previous ones. I remember watching it, and he was the black guy. So
yeah, fuck.
That's
Hal
the one I
Jordan.
know.
Yeah.
So I mean, for real, like we need to let these people do what they. I'm really open to letting them do what they want to do, and like I come in with an open mind, and it's like I really don't be wanting to see exactly. It's certain storylines I want to see, and that's why I guess while everybody's hating X-Men right now, I like it because I just like the storyline that they in because that's the one I grew up with, and it's like I don't give a fuck what liberties they take. The shit just need to be good. You know what I'm saying? Like I know a lot of what happened in that movie don't happen in the comics. I just don't give a fuck. I feel like it was bad for not for those reasons.
Have you seen or heard about this movie called Superman Lives? What happened when Tim Burton was going to make a Superman movie?
Yeah. That shit was weird.
Yeah, it was. But see, that's something I wouldn't mind. Like, when they described that shit to me, like a dark Superman, but not even dark, but like Tim Burton Superman and shit like that, and showing fucking Nicolas Cage in the suit, I was like, that shit could be cool. Mm-hmm. But, because I trust Tim Burton, and he's done Batman movies before, and he's made those movies Tim Burton like. So right. I trust him with that, and I would want to see something like that. But the reason why that movie didn't get made, because they kept making stupid shit happen. Like, the one producer wanted to put a big-ass spider in there for some dumb reason. Because he had I think it was an idea he had from another movie. He's like, this movie, he got to fight a giant spider. Like, they just put that in there. He has to fight a giant spider. And stupid shit like that, to me, is what causes movies like BVS to fall. Because it's one guy controlling shit that he has no business controlling. It's to the point where I don't even know what I'm trying to say. All I'm saying is why that movie didn't work is because some guy wanted some dumb shit in it that had nothing to do with the comic books. I feel like if they had stuck to the source, I'm all for taking liberties, but just within reason. That's all I'm trying to say. Take liberties, but within reason. Don't make Superman, suit orange. You can make him a black man, but make him act and look like Superman. You can make Nick Fury black, but he looks like Nick Fury. He got the eye patch and all that shit. You know what I mean? Just, I don't know.
I feel you, bro.
I don't know. I'm tired of talking about this.
All right, then. I guess we can close it out. Thank you guys for listening. What do you guys think? Down in the comments, let us know. Should directors, movie producers, etc. stick to the source material when it comes to comic book movies, video game movies, etc.? Let us know. Look at, oh my gosh, poor Mystique. Who says poor Mystique? Everyone knows Mystique got them hands, and she will put hands on you, and you won't know what the fuck to do. So
and she's evil, yo. Who knows what she did? She's evil.
She tried to slit his damn throat. That's what she tried to do.
Right. They should show that
and if
part.
you want to talk about that, okay, maybe they should have put a picture of Mystique slitting dude's throat. But then we can talk about, hey, we have this snap